What if I told you that the secret to living past 100 has nothing to do with the supplements stacked on your bathroom shelf, the green juice in your hand, or even how many steps you hit today? What if the most profound discovery in modern medicine, one that won a Nobel Prize, points not to a drug, not to a pill, but to something sitting quietly in your kitchen right now? Today, we're going to look at that question through the lens of Nobel Prize-winning science. And the answer is going to change the way you think about food forever. In 2016, Japanese cell biologist Dr. Yoshinori Osumi was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for something most people had never heard of, a cellular process called autophagy. The word comes from the Greek, auto meaning self, phage meaning eat. Autophagy is quite literally your body's ability to eat itself clean. When triggered correctly, your cells break down damaged proteins, clear out dysfunctional components, destroy invading pathogens, and essentially reset themselves. It is your body's most powerful internal renewal system, and the science now shows us that certain foods eaten in specific ways can switch it on like a dial. But here's what makes this truly remarkable. We've also spent decades studying the people who lived the longest on Earth. The centenarians of Okinawa, Sardinia, Ikaria, and the Nicoya Peninsula, regions known as blue zones. And when you overlay what they eat with the Nobel Prize-winning science of autophagy, with Dr. William Lee's research on the body's 5 core health defense systems, and with the latest data from nutritional genomics, a remarkably clear picture emerges. The foods that activate your cellular renewal system are not exotic. They are not expensive. They are not what most people think. In today's video, we're going to cover 6 science-backed insights that could genuinely reshape your health trajectory, not by adding another pill to your routine, but by understanding what your cells are actually asking for. Here's what we'll explore: what autophagy actually is, and why it's the single most important biological process for longevity you've never activated. 2. The 6 foods and food compounds that the latest research identifies as the most powerful daily triggers of cellular renewal. 3. The hidden enemy silently blocking your body's repair system right now, and how to remove it. 4. Why the centenarians of the world's blue zones are not doing anything extreme, and what their daily diet quietly has in common with Nobel Prize-winning science. 5. The 5 health defense systems identified by physician-scientist Dr. William Lee, and exactly which everyday foods keep each one fully armed. 6. A simple, practical daily protocol: what to eat, when to eat it, and how to stack these foods for compounding longevity benefits. Let me start with the science, because without understanding this, nothing else I'm going to tell you will truly land. Imagine your cells as a highly sophisticated manufacturing facility. Over time, every factory accumulates waste: broken machinery, misfolded materials, debris that wasn't properly disposed of. If that waste builds up, the entire facility slows down, starts producing flawed products, and eventually breaks down. That is precisely what happens in the aging human body. Here's what's really going on inside your cells. Every day, your body produces millions of new proteins. But proteins can misfold, get damaged, or become dysfunctional. If those damaged proteins are not cleared out, they begin to accumulate. They cluster together. They clog the cellular machinery. And over time, this accumulation is now directly linked to Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, cardiovascular decline, metabolic disease, and accelerated aging. Dr. Yoshinori Osumi's Nobel Prize-winning research revealed something extraordinary. Your body already has a built-in solution for this. Autophagy is a lysosomal degradation pathway, a system in which your cells identify and package their own damaged components, then break them down and recycle the raw materials. It is cellular spring cleaning at a molecular level. During periods of calorie restriction or nutrient stress, autophagy ramps up dramatically. Cells effectively recycle parts of themselves to survive, generating energy and clearing out harmful debris in the process. And here's where it gets profoundly important for longevity. The research shows that autophagy doesn't just clean up cellular garbage. It actively destroys viruses and bacteria, removes damaged organelles, suppresses tumor formation, reduces inflammation, and extends lifespan in every organism it has been studied in, from yeast to worms to flies to mammals. A 2025 study published in the journal Non-Coding RNA confirmed that fine-tuned autophagy plays a significant role in anti-aging biological processes through a key enzyme called AMPK, a metabolic master switch that governs energy balance at the cellular level. Now, here is the critical insight. Most people walking around today have chronically suppressed autophagy. Their cells are running the equivalent of a factory with overflowing bins, clogged machines, and no maintenance crew, ever. The primary reason? Chronic overfeeding, persistently elevated insulin, and a near-complete absence of the foods and behaviors that signal the body to clean house. This is the root cause that mainstream medicine rarely addresses. Doctors treat the symptoms of cellular breakdown, the inflammation, the tumor, the dementia, but almost never ask the deeper question, why is the cellular repair system failing in the first place? What the research now shows us is that we can restore autophagy through specific dietary choices. Foods that contain natural compounds capable of mimicking the signals that fasting sends to your cells. You don't have to fast for 3 days, you don't have to starve, you just have to eat strategically. And the foods that do this are not dramatic. They're not superfoods flown in from the Amazon. They are mushrooms. They are leafy greens. They are fermented foods. They are specific polyphenols that have been sitting in traditional diets for centuries. We'll get into exactly which ones in a moment. But first, I want you to understand this. Your body is not broken. Your cells are not simply declining with age. They have a repair system. It just needs the right signal to run. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you take back control of your health with real science. Now let's get to the specific foods, and more importantly, the mechanisms behind them, because understanding the why is what makes these changes stick. Let me use a simple analogy. Think of autophagy as a switch inside every one of your cells. That switch has an on position and an off position. When you eat constantly, and especially foods that spike insulin, that switch is locked in the off position. Insulin is a growth hormone. It tells your cells, there are nutrients available, now is the time to build, not clean. When insulin is chronically elevated, your cells never get the signal to run their maintenance program. Autophagy is suppressed. Cellular debris accumulates. But when you introduce specific food compounds, natural molecules found in everyday foods, they can flip that switch even without full fasting. Here are the most scientifically validated ones. First, spermidine. This is one of the most exciting compounds in longevity science right now. Spermidine is a naturally occurring polyamine, a small molecule derived from the amino acid arginine, found in wheat germ, aged cheese, mushrooms, soybeans, and green peas. Research published in Nature Aging has shown that spermidine promotes autophagy by targeting protein acetylation processes inside the cell, essentially tipping the balance toward cellular cleanup and renewal. Studies in model organisms show it can extend lifespan. Observational dietary data in humans links higher spermidine intake to longer life and lower cardiovascular risk. You can get meaningful amounts simply by eating a daily serving of mushrooms or a small portion of aged cheese. Second, resveratrol. Found in red grapes, blueberries, and Japanese knotweed, resveratrol activates a protein called SIRT1, one of the sirtuin family of longevity enzymes that require NAD+ to function. Sirtuins are directly linked to DNA repair, inflammation control, and metabolic regulation. Resveratrol essentially mimics the molecular signal of caloric restriction, activating the same AMPK pathway that fasting triggers. Research has shown that combining resveratrol with spermidine alters the acetylation status of hundreds of proteins central to the autophagy process, a synergistic effect that neither compound achieves alone. Third, EGCG from green tea. Epigallocatechin gallate is one of the most potent polyphenols in nature, and green tea is its richest dietary source. EGCG activates autophagy by inhibiting mTOR, the cellular growth pathway that, when chronically active, suppresses repair. 1 or 2 cups of high-quality green tea daily provides clinically relevant doses. Dr. William Lee considers green tea one of his Grand Slam foods, one that activates all 5 of the body's core health defense systems simultaneously. Fourth, curcumin. The active compound in turmeric, curcumin is a powerful inducer of autophagy through multiple pathways, including AMPK activation and mTOR inhibition. It also has potent anti-inflammatory properties. The key to absorption is pairing it with black pepper. Piperine increases curcumin bioavailability by up to 2,000%. Fifth, quercetin. Found in onions, capers, and apples, quercetin is a flavonoid with well-documented autophagy-promoting and senolytic properties, meaning it helps clear out senescent zombie cells that have stopped functioning but continue to secrete inflammatory signals into surrounding tissue. Sixth, berberine. Found in barberry and golden seal, berberine is often called nature's metformin because it activates AMPK with similar potency to the pharmaceutical drug used in diabetes management. It is one of the most studied natural autophagy inducers available. The practical protocol: rotate these compounds daily through whole foods. Think a cup of green tea in the morning, mushrooms with dinner, turmeric in your cooking, and a handful of blueberries as your afternoon choice. Here's something that most health content never addresses directly. It's not just about adding the right foods, it's about removing the things that are actively shutting down your cellular repair system, and doing so every single day. Let me explain with a clear picture of what's happening metabolically for the majority of people. When you eat, especially refined carbohydrates, sugars, or large protein loads, your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin's primary job is to shuttle glucose out of your bloodstream and into your cells. This is necessary, this is normal, but here's the problem. When insulin is chronically elevated, when it barely drops between meals because you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, snacking constantly, drinking sweetened beverages, or consuming highly processed foods, your mTOR pathway stays permanently activated. And here's what's really going on inside your body when mTOR is always on. Autophagy is always off. mTOR, the mammalian target of rapamycin, is essentially the master switch that tells your cells to prioritize growth over repair. When nutrients are abundant, mTOR signals build. When nutrients are scarce, mTOR steps back and autophagy runs. The problem is that modern eating patterns, 3 meals plus snacks, constant glucose exposure, ultra-processed foods, keep mTOR running around the clock and autophagy suppressed indefinitely. Think of it this way. Imagine your cellular cleaning crew works the night shift. They can only come in when the factory shuts down production. But if you keep the production line running 24 hours a day, which is what constant eating does metabolically, the cleaning crew never gets access. The factory keeps running, but the floors are getting dirtier, the machines are degrading, and eventually the whole operation starts breaking down. That's the biological reality of metabolic aging. So what do? There are 2 levels of intervention. The first is dietary. You need to create windows where insulin drops low enough for autophagy to engage. A 12 to 16 hour overnight fast, simply finishing dinner by 7 p.m. and not eating again until 7 to 11 a.m., is one of the most evidence-backed and accessible ways to do this. Scientists have found that fasting for 12 or more hours begins to reliably trigger autophagy. And this is one of the central mechanisms believed to underlie the longevity associated with calorie restriction across cultures and species. The second is food quality. Ultra-processed foods don't just spike insulin, they also introduce advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, which are compounds formed when proteins or fats combine with sugar during high-heat food processing. AGEs directly suppress autophagy, accelerate cellular aging, damage blood vessel walls, and promote neuroinflammation. The research is unambiguous. These compounds age your tissues faster than almost anything else in the modern diet. The solution is not perfection, it's pattern. Eat your last meal earlier. Resist the constant snack culture. Reduce processed foods not as a punishment, but as a biological favor to your cells. and anchor your diet in whole, minimally processed foods that provide the autophagy activating compounds we discussed in the last section. Your body wants to clean house. It was designed to. You simply have to stop blocking it. Here are the 6 science-backed insights we're going to explore together. 1. Why plain water alone cannot support collagen synthesis, and what your skin cells actually need from your beverages. 2. The vitamin C connection. Why this single nutrient is the master switch for collagen production, and how most seniors are unknowingly deficient in the very form that reaches skin tissue. 3. The bone broth protocol. Why this ancient drink is one of the most bioavailable sources of collagen precursors on the planet, and exactly how to use it. 4. Green tea and the collagen protection mechanism. How a specific compound in green tea called EGCG actively blocks the enzymes that destroy your collagen every day. 5. The silica factor, an overlooked mineral that acts as a scaffolding activator inside your skin, and the simple drink that delivers it. 6. The morning collagen drink protocol, a practical step-by-step daily routine that combines all of these insights into one powerful, easy-to-follow habit. Let's go deep on each one. Let me start with a simple analogy, and I want you to picture a construction site. Imagine you're building a house. You have a crew of workers ready to go. They're motivated, they're organized, they show up on time. But when they arrive, there are no bricks, no mortar, no steel beams. Just water. A hose running on the empty lot. That's essentially what's happening when seniors drink plain water and wonder why their skin isn't improving. Water is the construction crew. It delivers nutrients, flushes waste, keeps every cellular process running. Without it, nothing works. But water alone doesn't bring the building materials. And collagen synthesis, the actual process of rebuilding the protein fibers that give your skin its thickness, elasticity, and firmness, requires very specific raw materials. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you're trying to make collagen. Your skin contains specialized cells called fibroblasts. These are the cells responsible for manufacturing collagen. Think of them as the architects and builders of your skin's structural framework. For a fibroblast to produce collagen, it needs a precise set of inputs, amino acids like glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline, which are the actual building blocks of the collagen protein chain. It also needs specific cofactors, most critically vitamin C, to stabilize and cross-link the collagen fibers once they're assembled. Without vitamin C, the collagen your body produces literally falls apart before it can be used. It's like trying to build a wall without mortar between the bricks. Now here's where age becomes the real problem. As you get older, your fibroblasts become less responsive. They slow down. Their efficiency drops. And on top of that, a process called collagen degradation, where enzymes called matrix metalloproteinases, or MMPs, actively break down existing collagen, begins to outpace production. So not only are you making less collagen, you're losing what you have faster. What the research shows is that this equation can be meaningfully shifted by what you consume. A 2025 meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Medicine, one of the largest analyses of its kind, reviewing 23 randomized controlled trials involving nearly 1,500 participants, found that oral collagen supplementation significantly improved skin hydration, elasticity, and the appearance of wrinkles. That's not marketing, that's peer-reviewed clinical evidence. But collagen peptides in a drink work differently than the collagen in your skin. When you consume hydrolyzed collagen, it's broken down in your gut into small peptides and amino acids. These circulate in your bloodstream, reach your fibroblasts, and essentially signal them to ramp up their own collagen production. It's less about delivering collagen directly and more about triggering a biological response, like sending a message to your skin cells that says, "We need to rebuild." So what do you do with this? The practical solution is this. Stop thinking of your morning drink as just a hydration tool. Start thinking of it as a delivery system for the specific amino acids and cofactors your skin's fibroblasts are waiting for. In the sections ahead, I'm going to show you exactly what to add and in what combination. And if this kind of science-based, practical content is what you're looking for, if you want to genuinely understand what's happening inside your body and how to work with it, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day, breaking down complex physiology into tools you can actually use. If there is one single nutrient that sits at the absolute center of collagen biochemistry, it is vitamin C. Not because it's trendy, not because it's in every supplement aisle, but because without vitamin C, your body is physiologically incapable of producing stable, functional collagen. This isn't a theory, it's the biochemistry. Here's the mechanism, broken down simply. When your fibroblasts assemble a collagen molecule, they first produce what's called procollagen, a precursor chain made up of amino acids wound into a triple helix structure. For this triple helix to hold its shape, two specific amino acids, proline and lysine, need to be chemically modified in a process called hydroxylation. This is the step that cross-links the collagen fibers, giving them their structural strength. And here's the critical part. The enzyme that performs this hydroxylation step, called prolyl hydroxylase, requires vitamin C as an essential cofactor. Without sufficient vitamin C, the enzyme can't do its job. The procollagen chains remain unstable, they can't form a proper triple helix, and they're rapidly degraded. You end up with collagen fragments instead of collagen fibers. This is exactly why scurvy, the disease caused by severe vitamin C deficiency, produces skin breakdown, gum deterioration, and wounds that won't heal. These are all symptoms of collagen collapse. The connection is that direct. Now here's the part that surprises most people. Many seniors are quietly depleted in vitamin C, not severely enough to have obvious symptoms, but enough that their collagen production is meaningfully suppressed. Older adults absorb vitamin C less efficiently. Chronic stress, medications like aspirin and corticosteroids, smoking, and even high sugar intake all accelerate its depletion. And yet most people assume that because they eat some fruit occasionally, they're covered. A 2024 clinical trial published in Dermatology Research and Practice found that a supplement combining hydrolyzed collagen with vitamin C produced measurable improvements in skin elasticity, hydration, and dermal collagen density, as confirmed by high-resolution ultrasound imaging. The researchers specifically noted that vitamin C was a key factor driving efficacy, and that many collagen trials that lacked vitamin C showed weaker results. The cofactor, in other words, may matter as much as the collagen itself. What the research also shows is that vitamin C protects existing collagen from being destroyed. It inhibits the activity of those matrix metalloproteinase enzymes, the MMPs, that break collagen down under conditions of oxidative stress and UV exposure. It acts as both a builder and a guardian.